this better, but I just want you to know I think I'm just coming from a place where my brain is fried and I'm now officially retarded, and so therefore moving forward, I'll be watching these movies as a retarded person. All right, give us an intro, Adam.
Well, maybe cut it.
Yeah, no, it's good. It will be cut properly, I promise. I'm gonna.
All right, let's start about now.
I'm
All
gonna
right, guys, welcome to Action Hero Arcade. I'm Al, and that's Adam. Don't look any further into that. That's accurate. Anyways,
we've been deceiving you people the entire time. It's
Yeah,
a little ruse we like to play where we pretend to be each other.
they're never gonna know our names.
They're gonna fuck it up for the rest of time just because of you.
Always, next week I'm gonna be like Henry or something.
Steve.
All right, so this week we are doing. I can't even say a classic film. We're doing Cobra with Sylvester Stallone, starring Brigitte Nielsen, and we're going to break it down first. For those who haven't seen it before, the basic movie structure is as follows.
Buckle up,
We have,
folks. This one's it's you have to be real sophisticated to hold on to this one.
we're going to do a brief breakdown, and then we're going to get into it. So if you want to skip past this, you're welcome to it. But starts with a grocery store hostage situation.
Fact.
We find out that there is a serial killer called Night Slasher.
Fact.
The killings get worse. Police decide to use Stallone and his brutality to corral the criminals.
Fact.
Brigitte Nielsen's character clearly identifies a man in the pitch darkness of an underpass with pantyhose on his face, which then causes the criminals to track her down because they think that she can see.
That particular bullet point, I'm willing to discuss a little bit further, but please keep
I
going.
don't think that she could have got as good of a shot as she did, but that's my gripe. We'll dig into it. So, Brigitte Nielsen's targeted. Goons try and catch her. They abandon their plan for a little bit about causing chaos and just go after Brigitte Nielsen. She gets paired up with Stallone. Cue a driving scene. They narrowly escape. The car is destroyed. The cops start to fight. All hope is lost.
Mm-hmm.
They get stuck in a motel. Flirting happens, obviously. Showdown at the motel leads to another car chase that moves to a second location, which is either a factory, mill, or some sort of industrial plant.
A level from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, you get basically a Terminator 2 ending.
Yes,
Guy gets picked up and thrown into fire, and credits roll on a bike ride into the sunset.
A very slow bike ride. A very, very slow bike ride.
All in all, no. For me, this movie's just lazy. There isn't enough. It's not bad enough in a good way to draw me in. It's just doing basic action scenes. It's like just Stallone going through the motions and cueing one-liners for nothing. It didn't hit it for me. You, Al?
Yeah, well, this is a movie that my brother and I used to watch when we were younger, and we kind of, we were kids. I'm sure we had a slightly different perspective on things, so I think we appreciated this movie a little bit more when we were younger. In this most recent watch through, it is one of the biggest pieces of dog shit I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, it's so bad.
It's not even bad for a lot of the reasons you would think it were bad, even though those reasons are also still probably pretty bad. I know So my older brother actually wanted to be in on this podcast. I wanted to see if there was a way we can get him in. The fact that
I'm
he's a
in.
police officer, we had a very funny conversation about this movie, and he's essentially the worst cop of all time.
Stallone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, the people around the cops around him are right not to trust him on anything because he's a bad cop, and he does so many things, so many funny things, so wrong. Let's talk about the opening sequence because that's, I think, outside of the weird axe dancing, it's the opening sequence in the car that really stand out to a lot of people when they think about this movie.
Yeah.
Now, we both agree that this movie's dog shit. Opening sequence, pretty epic as for the time period, pretty funny. I don't hate it as much as I hate the rest of this movie.
That's true. I mean, well, because the opening, you don't know. Like, there's a sweet.
Because you don't know any better. That's
You're like,
why.
that's it. There's a
That's
sweet
so
spot
funny.
for all these movies that we're doing in this podcast, right? And it's like they have to be bad within a scale. And basically, you take it off of Rotten Tomatoes, you're looking at anything from probably like a, what, 20 to 40% rating is usually like the sweet spot for good, bad films because they're like not too taking themselves serious enough and they're goofy to a point where you can appreciate the goofiness and it's like and it works. Like Over the Top is silly. It's silly, but it works.
I guess
This
so. I
this
think
is just lazy action to me. It's just like any other action film. I don't know, and then you just have Stallone being an idiot. It's just
it
I
is
don't.
most certainly unique in the fact that it is the most nonsensical, ridiculous. I mean, dude, there are. Jeez, I don't even want to call them flaws because they're so silly that it's actually like a treat. It's like a little delicious chocolatey treat that I was able to enjoy. But there were a few times in this movie where I just couldn't help but bust out laughing. One of which, there's a scene in a parking garage where the Night Stalker, and I don't know if he has an accomplice in the van or it's just him, or what's the Night Slasher, whatever the
Yeah.
fuck this idiot's name is,
Well,
I don't care.
I think was is this? It sounds like they were trying to base it off of the Night Stalker, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, of the most lazy.
Yeah. What's the
Uh,
thing that happened? The Night Stalker is still going around. Okay,
hey,
Night Slacker, nailed it.
copy
Like,
it in your own words and turn it in.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
the
no,
act.
this one does an axe dance that I'm gonna start making everyone do when they come over. Like for like my daughter's birthday, we're all gonna hold axes and clank them together, and be like, "Society is bad."
They never explain why. They just do it. It's so stupid.
This
It's
is
so.
also Shao Kahn, right? The Night Slasher is Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat 2.
Oh, dude, he looked familiar.
Yeah, I think it's the only two things outside of some television roles that he's done, but you're not. I was confusing him for the Kurgan for a little bit. Mr. Krabs, the bad guy from the fucking from the Highlander, the
Uh,
Kurgan, bro.
yeah, I have a
Clancy
note here.
Brown or whatever. I think I don't
He
remember.
looks like a mix between Brandon Lee and Sting without the makeup on. Um,
That's interesting. That's interesting.
just just because when he dyes his hair and it's greased back black, especially with this, I thought he was. I
Oh,
don't know. This
yeah. This is definitely not a face that I would like to discover if I was driving down the street. I
no.
don't. So okay, we're getting a little crazy
Yeah.
again, as we
Let's
tend to
start.
do. I
We'll
need
roll
to
it.
ask, have you noticed? Not unlike remember when we did Street Fighter and I talked about the scene where Chun-Li stabs Ryu, and he doesn't react to it, and it's really uncomfortable, and it's just like just bad. Um, I don't know if we have a case of that here in this film, or they literally don't understand how the law works. But so he in the supermarket at the beginning, you got this guy, and he's doing the whole like "get out of here, copper! I'm in charge now" bullshit, the same rhetoric, and also spouting propaganda about the the end of the, I don't know, what was he talking about, the end of the world, or the end is coming.
They call themselves. They're like the New World Order. Not New World Order, but
Who
some sort
gives
of
a shit? We shouldn't even
gang,
don't
right?
remember any of this nonsense, people. It means nothing. The
Yes.
point is, so not only is this guy basically like foreshadowing, giving out plot points because no one would give a shit anyways, but
You mean the Adam Driver knockoff, the really tall guy in the
Adam Driver is like creepy uncle. So he Stallone tells him to freeze and like drop the gun, and he starts shooting him. Okay, he starts shooting him, throws a knife at him, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Starts shooting him, and while he's shooting him, he's like, "Freeze! Put it down!" And I don't understand the chronological timeline of what he's talking about here. Once you're shooting at someone, it's trying to explain that maybe he should stop what he's doing is kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Redundant. Kind of, it serves no purpose. You threw a knife at a guy and started shooting at him, and while he's on the floor dying, you're like, "All right, dude, that's enough of that." It's just again.
I don't even understand the guy from the beginning because at first he's just shooting groceries. Like I have written down the line from the jerk, the cans. He's shooting the cans because he's just like shooting watermelon and fucking soda in the grocery store.
Yeah,
And
why did he die? Did he deserve to die?
he did kill that one guy in the back, and then he's standing there. He's standing there next to some frozen section, saying he has a bomb in his hand, and not to shoot her. I'll shoot this girl that's next to me and like these three other people. And Stallone goes, because he says he's going to blow them all up, and Stallone's response, because he had to have again had a writing credit. His response is, "Go ahead, I don't shop here." Great.
All right,
So,
dude. All right. I wish I could almost be an extra in the background of all these movies and just be like, "All right, bro. All right, dude."
really? Yeah. It's just Stallone doing one-liners, man, this whole film. And, like, if you're a Stallone diehard, maybe you like it for that. But I'm not that guy. Because, yeah, then he just whips a knife out of nowhere in the guy's leg and shoots him, like, once with an SMG, and he's down. And then he walks out. And the people are hounding him. We got the press all over him, like... what do they say? Don't they question, did you use excessive force? And he's like, I used everything I had.
Yeah.
Again, what the fuck?
If I could, I would have pinned him down and stuffed myself into his dirty little butt to show him who's boss around here.
That's basically it, yeah. And he still has what I thought was a toothpick until, like, after this scene, I realized it was a match. Because he's a badass. Get a match in your
A
mouth.
5'5" badass, dude. Yeah, real fucking sweet.
And so that all ends. He shoves a reporter's face in the dead body of the guy that was killed. You know,
That seems like a crime too. I don't know. Maybe I don't know the law as well as I thought I did, but it just feels like, as far as I'm concerned, the one person that has committed the most atrocities up to this point has been Stallone.
it seems to be a trend in a lot of his films. I heard.
Well, anything to get his kid back or whatever nonsense he's spouting off about this time.
I'm sure it's a kid
I'm
or
starting to
something.
get tired of these Stallone adventures, Adam. We're going to have to do a good Stallone movie, or eventually my mind's going to break to the point where I'm just going to think Stallone's dog shit every time I see him.
Dude, I heard somebody break down Rocky as just Stallone being an autistic child, where he's trying to tell Adrian to come over to look at his turtles, and she's like, "I don't really like turtles." He's like, "But come over and see my turtles." And I was like,
Come on,
"Holy shit!"
turtles. I like turtles.
It's like, "Holy shit, that's accurate." Like
Yeah.
now, that's for me.
Yeah.
So.
It's becoming heartbreaking. We're going to have to do a good one soon, because this is not... Again,
No.
I remember watching this as a kid and being like, "Yeah, dude, Cobra, he had that fucking, he had the sweet whip, and he had the fucking sweet, the pearl-plated Colt or whatever he had," like...
His license plate says "Awesome 50."
Yeah, I knew you were gonna bring that up at some point. I was gonna try to dodge that one, but yeah, it is. It should say gay.
And then they wait till like 3/4 through the movie and he magically has nos. Like, what?
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm honestly the saddest part in this movie is whenever the car gets all fucked up.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's the most depressing. If you had, there's the only emotional reaction I had to this movie that wasn't me being angry, rolling my eyes, was like, oh, not the car, man. Come on, man.
I have a lot of questions about Stallone's behavior in general.
Okay.
That the things they chose to put in the film, like when you see him walking back into his apartment, he
Wait,
throws.
wait. Him pulling up to his apartment is a story within itself. Let alone the psycho shit that he does in his apartment. First
Oh
off,
yeah,
he rolls
yeah.
up into the apartment, he just pushes a car out of what he claims is his parking
Oh,
space on a public road.
right. Parking dispute. Yes.
Okay, dude
Why
comes
can't
out.
that car must not have a purse?
He says some shit like smoking's bad for you. Rips this dude's shirt off like a bully. He just bullies a man, drives into a stranger, forces him out of his car, bullies him, and then we're supposed to be like, yay, good guy. This is the good guy. I like him.
And then he walks into his house.
Oh, dude,
And
this is like American Psycho shit right here. None of the next 5 seconds doesn't
No.
make any fucking sense whatsoever.
He's reading a newspaper. He puts the newspaper in his round Weber grill and closes the lid and walks inside. And I'm like, well, maybe that's a foreshadow. Maybe he's home alone defending his home. No. Goes inside. There's pizza and food that seems to have been left out for days. Opens a carton of eggs in its gun parts.
Yeah, gun cleaning kit that he pulls out of his freezer.
Opens up the pizza box. Takes a piece of pizza out of the pizza box. Cuts a triangle off of
Yeah, with scissors while wearing leather gloves.
Yes. And then puts the rest of that pizza slice back in the box, moves the box to the side, and watches the news, cleans his gun, and eats a triangle cut of a piece of
Also,
pizza.
I'm not sure if it's the news. It almost sounds like some creepy kid show. Like, if I remember correctly, there's like some child singing in the background, and it is really disturbing.
That I could also see that. I just assumed I was so thrown off by the pizza cut that I just assumed it was like some sort of banter about the light night slasher. And
Not Richard Ramirez. This is Shao Kahn. We need to get our facts straight.
he's in Hotel Cecil, guys. Why didn't they just go? Oh no, again, slasher, not stalker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, and then okay. So then we have we're not gonna discuss this movie seriously or in great detail.
I'm not going by bullet point.
Yeah, don't expect us to do our due diligence on this one. If you watched it, you'll understand. But okay, so we got this hilarious scene where the night stalker slasher, the night guy, the axe dancer man, Shao Kahn, commits a crime, and I think he kills somebody, and as he is like in the process of moving this body, a woman drives past him. So his instinct is to walk out into the middle of the street and just stare at her like this, like just stare at her in the face while she slowly drives by, and immediately you're like, all right, so now he's gonna kill her next because she saw the crime, but like none of that was confirmed. Like none of we're grasping at straws here to get to the next part of the movie. It doesn't really make any sense.
Their whole he could have just hid behind the van.
Or not walked out into the middle of the street.
It's also dark and under an underpass, so like she could have she saw something weird and drove away. She didn't think anything of it.
Yeah.
The police questioned her after these guys track her down. They track her down after this, find her in this parking garage, and like almost kill her. She narrowly escapes. The police question her, do you have any enemies? Has anything happened? They go through like 15 questions before she's like, oh yeah, I did see something weird last Tuesday. Like, they created their own problem. And then they also, I don't understand the whole message of this gang, because at the end, we're
Dude, it's
revealed
hurting my
that
brain, Cope.
they are the hunters and they kill the weak so the strong can survive. What does
Yes.
that mean? You just kill everybody? How do you decide that? And then also, if you just have all strong people, when do you fight amongst each other? What is your end goal? How do you recruit? Why are you doing this?
I,
Is
w-
there what? Why? What
I
the
want to
fuck?
know where this OSHA violating factory is, where there's fire blasting. That's first off. That's what I would like to know first. I want to know where these people met, how they decided to meet in this OSHA violating foundry of death. I don't understand. I don't know. Do they give out axes to new members? Do they teach you the dance?
What is the axe clang? Because that's all it is. It's just an axe clang.
So
It's amazing.
you're
It's
tell me that like Stallone wasn't on coke one night and I was like, it'd be great. Let's make him slam axes. It's real scary shit right there. Like I don't know. I don't know how else you come up with that. That's like the fever dream of like a crazy person. God, Adam, this movie's so retarded. This is
they're the night turn detective squad call themselves the zombie squad, and it's just two people. There's just two of them, and like their bro moment is hanging out in a parking lot waiting for the good cops to come and be like, yeah, you guys can do whatever you want. As they talk about one guy eating too much candy, like that's the male bonding that has happened.
well,
Uh,
dude. The fucking you want to talk about police officers and their hilarious incompetence. There's a scene where the Night Stalker sees this cop and is like I think they're in the parking garage and the cop like sees the Night Stalker and draws his gun and starts shooting at the windshield of the van that the Night Stalker is driving. It's Night Slasher. Who gives a shit? I'm not gonna correct
doesn't
myself.
matter. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
don't correct.
And he just drives this cop into a wall. He just slams this fucking straight up, murders a police officer in the most violent.
Even the stupid shit in this film makes no goddamn sense. Like, so when we're first introduced to Brigitte Nielsen outside of like we see her under the underpass, right? And they see her, and you're like, oh boy, that's going to be an issue. And then you're introduced to her again, and it's just interspersed between whatever the fuck Stallone's doing, like
She's
driving.
married to him at this point, right? Am I right?
What's that?
Bridget
I don't
Nielsen and Stallone are married at this
know
point?
them when they started.
That wouldn't surprise. Hey, I need a role from my girlfriend. Let's get
Yeah.
her a job.
There's no, I mean, it's just like Stallone's doing something weird. He's like punching somebody, or he's like gearing up for something, and it's like a montage. Oh, they're hitting the streets, like interviewing scuzz. So not naturally, they go to like a tattoo shop in a strip club. Because that's where that.
Right.
So
As
they're
you
interviewing
do.
low lives, and while they're doing that, there's like a solid 3 minutes where it's like that and a shot of a weird robot, that and a shot of a weird robot, and like
Yes,
you
dude.
don't know why.
Dude.
And then all of a sudden, it's just weird robots, and then you see a woman, and then you're like, it's a photo shoot. We don't know for what.
A futuristic 80s robot photo shoot that is. This movie
Dude.
is a fever dream, dude. This is like you woke me up. I've been sick for 11 weeks. I don't know who I am or who my family is anymore. And you're like, "Ow, how are you feeling today?" And I'm like, "The Night Slasher, the axes,
No, I liked the car chases.
robots from the future, Adam." And you're like, "Oh my god, so he's high as fuck. This dude's high as fuck right now."
How about the pickup attempt by the photographer in the parking garage, where he's like, she keeps telling him no, and he's like, I'm just trying to find you, love, please. Of course I want to sleep with you. Like, just this sleazy photographer.
These
It's
robots made me so horny. Don't you understand?
Those metal boobs turn me on, man. Let me see yours. I mean, it's just so weird. And then the only redeeming thing is the car chases. And it's only just that first car chase, because then after that, it's like, we're doing the same thing again. But that first one, when he wrecks the thing and spins it,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they're about to crash into this trailer with a boat, and he somehow spins the car perfectly, and it just crashes against the boat instead of propeller right in the face.
I didn't want to compliment this movie at all, but you're right. That was actually kind of sweet.
He does a jump, like that's the cars. He does he doesn't he jump off of something, to get onto the car, and then they go through the parking garage, and he jumps it off of the second floor down to the first
It's
floor.
not really.
Like, it's a badass car chase. Stupid, because the person you're protecting is right next to you, but
Yeah.
still a badass car chase.
Yeah, it doesn't really make any goddamn sense, does it?
It doesn't. The final showdown. It's again one dude against an army,
Can
and
wait, dude. Did you notice that it's like he wrote like you know how in a lot of the motif in a lot of these movies in the final confrontation the protagonist often says something clever before like
yeah,
like
yeah,
you've eaten your last walnut or says some dumb shit, right? Is it me
yeah,
or did Stallone write like 12 of these lines for this movie and he was like, I like them all, I gotta use them all. Like every 5 seconds, he's like, and this
yeah.
is justice.
There
You
was one I wrote down. Uh,
you've
where the law
smashed your
stops,
last night.
where the law stops, I start,
Yeah,
sucker. Like
yeah.
what?
What the
It's yeah. It's basically him just
babbling?
writing quips, man. It's so just silly. I mean, how about the he's facing off against a truck that's charging towards him, and he shoots it like 4 times with his mini machine gun, and
Yeah,
or
it's amazing.
dude,
It didn't work out for the cop in the parking garage, but it
yeah,
did work out. Yeah, no, that's
dude
interesting.
coming towards him on a motorcycle alone in an empty field, and he has a machine gun, but instead wastes a grenade on one motorcycle in a field, and he could have just shot him. I just don't get
Bro,
it.
this is like at this point, this feels like a bad acid trip, and I want it to stop.
Fonzie's the jukebox. Fucking Brigitte Nielsen puts a quart of ketchup on her fries. Like it doesn't.
Oh, dude, can we talk
It's,
about that for a second? Was that psychotic, or have I snapped with reality, or was that the weirdest, just like squeak?
well, I told you I did. I forgot. I forgot I didn't watch it. Forgot. I knew it was bad. I kind of was like, ah, shit, I gotta watch this movie. So I had to watch
Hey,
it
you notice the
right.
Night Stalker or the Slasher, whatever this gay guy's character? He's creeping on you, dude. That's why he's there. He wants to watch you because you're the weak.
He. So I watched it right before we were doing this with Becky upstairs. She's like playing on her phone. So I had to put the poor woman through just even hearing this film. And the one thing she picked up on is she's like, how much ketchup is she putting on those fries? I was like, right? Right?
Yeah, dude, it's
Like,
psychotic. It's psychotic.
unreal. Unreal. It's, oh, God. I'm just, you got Nas. The car leap was cool. Really, it was just that one car chase. Because even the fight at the end, it's a long, drawn out fight, but it's not cool like they live. It's just two guys predictably hitting each other where you think they're going to hit each other, waiting for the hook to inevitably make it circle back around. And
Yeah, yeah. And again, I'm telling you, and not that I would ever expect anybody to sit through this again, but I swear at the end of this movie, he has like, he's just he won't shut up. Every time he gets,
yeah,
he
no, there is a
like
lot more he says.
he like pops out of it's like half of his face out of the darkness and he's like, and justice is you're gay or whatever, and then he goes back
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh god.
Well, the bad guy's like berating him for an hour too, and just keeps every other word is pig, and you gotta take me in, and I have rights, and he spouts everything he's
Yeah,
ever thought.
murder's illegal,
Yeah,
copper.
yeah.
Except for when you're me, because I've already murdered like 11 of you guys now.
I have rights, right? Oh, dude, how about so when she's being attacked in the hospital, screaming for her life? This is another point that actually Becky picked up on is that no one hears her while she's screaming, and then she presses like the button for the alarm, and 120 people come out of the room. Like,
Yeah, dude. No, you know what though? I'll give that credit. That seems to be a motif in a lot of '80s films where, as shit. Yeah, it always feels like hospitals are like ghost towns and shit. Like
yeah,
no one's
yep,
ever around. Yeah, but you know what? I'll give that to the time period. Halloween 2 is one of my favorite movies ever, and it is that's like one of the biggest sins of that movie. Is it's just like what is there? 3 fucking people in this goddamn hospital. You can't. 12 of you motherfuckers can't hold this dickhead down until the fucking cops get there. Like, what reality these people live in? And we're kind of here too. But also, I proposed to you, Adam, Say you got your gallbladder removed. Say you got stitches in your balls. I don't pick your fucking poison. My point is you're laying in a hospital bed and you see fucking Captain Crunch and all of his fucking Birkenstock bandits walking by with fucking axes. You're kind of like, you know what? Fuck that lady. I'm not getting up. That's crazy, yo. You see those guys? Nah, bro. Who's in charge?
Did you see that mountain of a man? He blocked the whole doorway as he passed. I'm gonna stay here.
Yeah, that's Shao Kahn, and nah, dude.
That's a fair point, I guess. Especially if I got stitches in me or I'm IV'd up.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
fuck that. How many? I don't know. I haven't spent a lot of time in the hospital, but I've spent enough time in the hospital where I definitely hate other people. I definitely.
I mean, in fairness, I hate most people outside of a hospital.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're in a hospital bed. There's someone next to you, always probably screaming, like, "Oh, they're mistreating me."
good point. That's a good point. But
Donald
yeah.
Rumsfeld's a space lizard.
How about Stallone? Probably one of the top 5 worst runs I've ever seen put on camera is Stallone's run through that hospital hallway. I don't know if you caught it, but it was the goofiest looking fucking thing I've ever seen.
He's not great.
He's not an agile guy. I mean, that was like his big problem in Rocky. I think they his feet weren't fast enough, if I remember right.
Listen,
Like he's not.
It's not Steven Seagal running level bad. Steven Seagal has the worst run in movie history. He just runs like a girl. Like he's like, ew. Like that's how Steven Seagal runs. And Stallone sometimes he's gotten better with it as he gets a little bit older.
This was bad.
Demolition Man, he's fucking he's like a fucking mongoose in Demolition Man.
By like First Bloods, he's good.
Yeah.
But like
I
this,
can't even believe that this is. It's so funny because there must have been 5 years where Stallone made like 48 movies.
yeah. Like, what is the time period between like how good Rocky was? Like, how many shit movies did he make in between like the peak of Rocky before like First Blood took off, and then he got caught that wave again? You know, because
if you and I were even remotely professional, we could probably quickly and efficiently answer this question. But I would love to know, like, from a span from, like, 1983 to, like, 1990, how many Stallone movies there were. Because it really makes me feel like there's, like, 50. And all of them had sequels and shit, and he did all those buddy cop movies, like Tango and Cash and shit, too. Or, like, what was the shitty one where they shot my grandma or something? Some stupid-ass movie. Like... I'm just saying, this dude was probably filming these movies in like a matter of months. Not like a year, not like 6 months. He probably literally was on set for like 3 weeks. I'm going to punch a guy, match in mouth, explosion, dick out, end scene.
yeah, that's what I'm going to move this camera so it's going to get shaky and weird because it's bothering me. But
Is
that's
that
like
Owen Hart on your shirt, by the way?
Fudge, yeah, it is, buddy.
Dude, I love that. That's so great, dude.
How much Owen Hart merch do you ever see? I had to buy it as soon as I saw it.
Bro, Owen Hart, probably, arguably, some might say the best Hart.
Yeah.
I'm a Brett man myself, but Owen was the man.
He had the better intro music. I remember that much from WWF Raw for the Genesis.
It sounded like Prince, something that Prince would have written.
His career was just kind of hung up there, though, for a little bit, you know, just kind of...
You had to say that, didn't you? You just had to say that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in
Hanging
times...
fruit. It's low-hanging fruit, Al.
It's the times like these where I'm upset, where I often turn to Tom Petty. And there's this really good song by Tom Petty that I listen to when I'm sad. I believe it was about... Never mind. I was going to do this bit about it being Eric Clapton, a song about Eric Clapton's kid, but that's terrible. I can't finish my bit, dude. It's too awful.
What song about Eric Clapton's kid did Tom Petty write?
Free Fallin'. Oh, I told you. You did it to me. I said I wasn't going to do it. You made me do it anyway.
When we're editing this show as like clickbait for people to click on. Yeah, put that one first.
That's all right, dude. That's going up on the Instagram.
Yeah, that first, followed by all my comments about our dearly beloved Owen Hart.
Dude.
All right.
Owen Hart.
I
Honestly, I would have been way more jazzed to do an hour-long podcast about Owen Hart way before I ever do another shitty piece of dog shit like this ever again.
It is bad. I don't even know what we can do for the next one. And his name, Marion Cobretti,
Marion
and
Cobretti, yes.
that's where they got the title for the movie. Is just Cobra. Like, and his flirting. Obviously, there's got to be flirting with the chick, and it's like he's this tough guy, and she flirts with him because like he doesn't make any advances because he's this stoic, down to business badass, and he's sitting there in the motel room gearing up for this big fight. She's like, "Please come over here."
Oh, this is such a piece of shit. I should ask my brother how many cops watch this movie and like it. I know he tore it to pieces. I know that he was like, "Wow, this is
It's
dumb."
like when Ron White talked about getting kicked out of that one club by bouncers, and he's like, "These aren't normal bouncers. These are bouncers that go home and jerk off to Roadhouse. Like there are cops that go home and jerk off to Cobra." Like,
Yes, yeah. I don't know, man. What did we learn? What did we learn from this movie? What is the takeaway?
well, I mean, really, there was one 15-minute segment that made it worth it for me, and it was just that car chase. The opening was cool because it was a little bit silly, especially when he was shooting watermelons. But I liked the bad guy. I just liked the way he looked because he looked menacing, but his acting was bad.
He was a knockoff Clancy Brown, dude. They should have got the Kurgan.
It was just the car chase for me. Yeah. There's nothing to learn from this. Don't watch it. Don't do it. It's not good bad. It's not entertaining bad. It's just middle of the road, average at best.
Genuinely dictionary bad.
Yeah, it's not bad because it tried and failed and did it poorly. It's bad because it stayed right in the middle and didn't try. Right? Like it would have been better if it did something ridiculous because then we could laugh about that. It just like
like if you're gonna do these kinds of stories, like if you're gonna do this kind of storytelling, you need to. So okay, I hate to nerd it up. I was doing a little bit of reading. It turns out I think Stallone was originally attached to Beverly Hills Cop. Okay. Stallone wanted to take it in a less comedic direction and in a more serious direction. And he didn't like come to an agreement with the studio. So they moved on and actually got Eddie Murphy and went back and did the original idea that they were going to do, citing expenses or some nonsense rather. And he ends up getting this movie, and this is 100% Stallone going to some writer or going to some studio and being like, "Listen, we need to tell a story about this cop." That he just took all the ideas he had for Beverly Hills Cop and wanted to do it for this movie. And needless to say, a lot of people like to talk shit on studios, but thank God someone was there, because if we lost Beverly Hills Cop and got just this instead.
Can you imagine if they would have kept the same intro too? You would have had that awesome intro music. Such a shitty movie. Right. Then, like every time that song gets stuck in your head, you have to think about this POS. Like this, I want to also fact check all the crap that they spout in the beginning. Burglary every 11 seconds, armed robbery every 65 seconds, violent crime every 25 seconds, a murder every 24 minutes, and 250 rapes per day. Now, even if those statistics are accurate, I don't know. Do you think it's worse or better today? I think those are accurate for the time. And then, if so, do you think anything has changed?
Where the fuck does this movie even take place in? Yep, that's exactly what I thought. That's what I'm saying. I was so disengaged from this fucking piece of dog shit from the jump that I couldn't even tell you.
It was lazy is the best adjective I could use to describe this. Is lazy. They put in all the cliches.
Do you think this was a passion project? Like do you think someone someone went to the storyboard with this movie and they had some pretty cool images, like the group of guys in the warehouse with the axes that looks very comic book to me, like
the tattoo that they had, right? They had that symbol with like the axes and stuff, like it seemed like that could have been more of a motif, or at least they thought about it, because like they did
Yeah.
intersperse images of that. They never really relied on it more. But like,
Again, I hate to be a broken record. The cinematography is probably not unlike Over the Top. The cinematography is probably the most professional part of this whole movie.
yeah,
A lot of the camera work was really good, but like again, that would never ever be a reason to watch a movie. Is like, oh, they filmed this pretty well. Like, it's I can't I
there's
need
no
to
redeem.
figure
I
out
mean,
50 more ways to say that this is bad because that's all that I got, dude. It is just a piece of shit.
the redeeming quality was the car chase, but that's not redemption enough for me to make you turn it on.
Not
So
for me,
you can
bro.
see better car chases in any other movie. You know.
Um, uh, so then let's briefly, if you don't mind, we can talk about this. But maybe I'm wrong. But Adam, would you assume it's against police protocol to hook someone like your Leatherface and then incinerate them in
I
this?
also thought Leatherface. I'm sorry, I keep moving. It keeps moving on me.
No, it's okay, dude. You keep doing it, I'm gonna spear hook you and burn you. As any reasonable police officer would.
As soon as I saw the hook, I was like, well, oh my gosh, I wonder if he's going to be picked up and put into the fire slash lava. He was.
Yeah, of course. I again, not to nerd it up, but I was talking to my brother about this, and he thinks it's funny. Like when he watches this movie, he has a hard time. Like when you're a police officer and there's a shooting, the first thing they do is they take your gun off you. They take your gun off you. There's an investigation. They make sure you're all right. They make sure everything was covered. Like it's a huge process. In all of these movies, these cops just gun down people, and then they're like, "God damn it, you're costing the city money."
They're in a big boardroom with like the mayor, the chief of police, the sergeant, and everything, and Stallone's just standing there quiet, and while they're trying to figure out why they can't catch this guy. Right after Stallone had this awesome car chase and blew up the whole city, that also there appeared to be no other cops on duty during that time, though. They were just like taking a break. Like
Bro,
he drives through like 4 city blocks, wrecks into like 16 vehicles, smashes into a boat, shoots up everybody, and there's not another siren. There's not no one else of authority notices. Hey, that probably shouldn't be happening. They just let it go.
riddle me this, Batman. They Stallone and the broad go to the police for this night slasher nonsense. The police don't believe her, even though she's a direct eyewitness, and yet they still put her in like a witness protection, anyways. Can you explain the logic here?
I can't explain why they don't believe there's more than one person. Like,
Also, why, if you don't believe them, would you put them in witness protection?
and waste all the resources they have, and why do they think after the big chase, why do they think that all that destruction was caused by one person, right? Because the other guy, because there are 2 people in the beginning, because Tony, his partner, gets like T-boned, but they're like, no, it's not an army of people, it's just one dude, and then and then they still say fuck off and
I don't
Stallone
know, dude.
fight him alone. I don't fucking get it. But I did like seeing um, Babe Ruth from Sandlot and Chrissy's dad from Hellraiser. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't even remember. I don't
The
even remember.
the guy he punches at the end, the snooty
Oh
cop.
yeah,
That
yeah. That so the cop that is correctly criticizing Marion Cobretti the whole time is the dad from Hellraiser.
that's the dad from Hellraiser,
You're
and then
absolutely right. God damn. Well, there you go. That's it. That's why I watch this movie. That's what I'm going to tell
the
myself.
sergeant or police chief. That's Babe Ruth from the Sandlot.
So the very brief and kind of not actually important at all little shots of nostalgia kept you going through this, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. You Heroes Get Remembered, but Legends Never Die kept playing in my head every time I saw a police chief, and then every time I saw Mort, I just kept hearing Jesus wept and watched his face pull apart.
Yeah, right. So
Yeah,
it's
that
funny
got me
you
going.
say that because you know what was in my head the whole time I was watching this?
So,
Adam will never make me watch a movie like this ever again. I'll never ever watch a movie this bad.
dude, I really want you to watch Delta Force because I thought it was the worst movie I had seen up until I saw this. So, um, Delta Force with Chuck Norris and Lee Marvin is a slightly better film than Cobra.
Wow, what a stunning what a compliment.
Yeah, yeah, because at least there's some ridiculousness of Chuck Norris alone on a motorcycle with rockets on it shooting at tanks. Like that's awesome. This wasn't.
There was, yeah, now that I think about it, there wasn't even awesome in this movie.
No, that's
Usually
what I
there's a
mean. They
drop
didn't
of
even
it
try
somewhere.
for awesome. They didn't even try for awesome. They just batted 300, like the average, like the basic, fucking bare minimum C plus maybe.
Yeah, this was a bad one, dude. I honestly I even tried. It's funny that I went through like these emotional stages where I was like, wow, this is a really terrible film. But like at least they'll be able to make fun of it with Adam and we'll laugh and you know what? It's not funny. None of
It's
there's nothing there.
it's so weird. They missed. They not only did they miss making a good film, they missed making the perfect bad film because there's not even anything to make fun about. It's just
Bro,
like
it's just the most poorly executed piece
it's
of dirt.
vanilla. Like it's just it's lame.
So
So
it's
what
safe
else?
to assume, Adam, that you don't recommend anybody see this film.
I'm upset. So the only reason I own this film is I bought a film of canon movies. So it had this Over the Top, Masters of the Universe, Delta Force, um, the, everything that canon made, and it's called like
You are naming, hands down, easily some of the worst films ever made.
yeah, but they're good bad films, right? Like Masters of the Universe is awesome. Uh, Over the Top, I love Over the Top. I thought this would be okay. It is. I'm upset that
Nah,
Adam's
dude.
upset.
You know what? It's guilty of taking itself way too seriously, and you can only do that when you have like worthy writing. Like if you're doing,
Or a plot.
yeah, if you like it, they took this movie as seriously as you would writing The Godfather, but it's just the biggest piece of dog shit. Like that's what I'm saying. Like they really thought they had some heavy shit here, dude. Like only the strong survive, and they're like, "Yo,
Yeah,
dude,
like,
this is
this is such social commentary. This
yeah,
really
dude.
did.
How existential and transcendent is this film, dude?" And like, bro, this is if you made a 6-year-old write an action film, this is what he would write.
We didn't even talk about the just the random part. The bitch police officer that was a double agent that like.
Adam, you know why we didn't talk about it? Because it don't make any fucking sense.
It doesn't.
It's literally serves no purpose. It makes no goddamn sense.
It answers one question that I had. When they get her license plate as she's driving away because they think that she's going to remember them, and my thought was, but you're criminals in the '80s. How are you going to run plates?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
And
yeah. What that really pulls it all together.
that's the only reason I can think of. Like,
I don't know. I don't know,
and to
man.
rat out their locations,
I
but like so dumb.
yeah. I got nothing, man. This is such a piece of shit. I want to say that if we maybe in the future we can talk about this. This would absolutely be on a top 5. Do not watch,
Oh my
like
god.
under any circumstances. Don't watch this movie. I over the top. We're a little bit biased because we like shitty movies, but like this one,
I mean, the ending of Over the Top is the redemption. You get the truck crash, and you get the battle. You get the arm wrestling at the end. That's what saves it.
I
isn't
mean,
a savior.
it.
There's nothing.
I
There's
don't
just a
know who this movie's for. I don't know who it's trying to represent. I don't know who it's speaking to. I have no idea what they're trying to accomplish.
you know what who we haven't seen yet, who I think could get us back into good bad movies, is like the OG. I mean, we got to see we got to put an Arnold one.
You know what? Arnold will save this franchise. Listen, I think if we're
Or
gonna,
John if we want to do like a Bloodsport or something.
Van Damme is also the man.
But we did Van Damme with Street Fighter, so maybe Arnold.
Yeah, I guess it is Arnold's time to shine. If we're, I mean, because if you got a Mount Rushmore, it's
Yeah.
Arnold, Stallone.
Van Damme.
I would put Van Damme there as well. I don't know, man.
Up there though.
I
Do
want
you?
to say, like, just in terms of shitty action films, I want to say Seagal, but he's such a piece of shit that he
He's
definitely
a shit human, though,
he's the
right?
worst. He's not
I
only a
don't.
bad actor, he's a bad person. He's just
uh,
and he's
Yeah.
hilarious. What about Bruce Willis? What about would you throw Bruce Willis up in there?
No, only because I almost said only because his whole catalog isn't action. 80% of it is.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, Die Hard is a better film than 99% of Stallone films.
Yeah, but Die Hard is a serious film, right? I
Okay,
guess.
but if you're gonna take yourself seriously, you have to execute it right. And like you got a guy like Willis has the charm and the charisma to pull you through a story like that.
But more,
Stallone is we've talked about it before, but Stallone is like a slow child,
no, he absolutely is. But
and
as far as like,
there's nothing compelling of watching a slow person battle another slow person with an axe.
but you can't. You got to keep Stallone on Mount Rushmore because you had
He's
him and
not going
Arnold
anywhere. Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
supremacy during the peak of action film, like their heyday, right? So they're on there no matter what. I feel like Chuck deserves a spot because he's just so big pop culturally. Like the
Perhaps.
the jokes in general, like they're awesome. But Walker Texas Ranger as a show, if you've ever watched anything from it, is the most goddamn ridiculous thing you've ever seen. So, but I don't. When I think Bruce Willis, I don't think necessarily action star because I also think of like Pulp Fiction and The Kid, and like he's been in other things that
Yeah,
are
but
good.
you know what? So is Arnold. So is Stallone. I think that now, granted, that like there is a motif of their careers for sure. You're not gonna look back and think of all of Arnold's like stunning thrillers that he's been in.
Right.
But the reality is, I think that all of them have a pretty extensive resume. They did it. They did it whether it be with competition with each other or just to be able to say that they did it. It's hard for man.
Man, this is a good debate to continue as we watch this because
That's
it
true.
can only be sport.
This could evolve and change as time goes on. But I tell you right now, I'll never put a motherfucker like Jason Statham up there. He'll never go
Oh,
up
no,
next to
no,
him. You
no.
know
I was
what?
thinking like, modern day Keanu Reeves maybe, but that's just the John Wick movies. That's nothing else.
Interesting. Honest. What about Mel Gibson, dude? Mel Gibson could go up there.
So hot take, but I like Lethal Weapon better than Die Hard. I think they're better movies. Um,
I love
but
them both.
I like the dynamic between the two better than just a solo guy because just Mel Gibson as a wild card is hilarious to me, especially with his flocks.
It
And
depends.
then
I think that's a perspective issue. I think that Danny Glover kind of serves this role to. We'll get. You know what? We'll watch Lethal Weapon and we'll get into this. But
we'll have to do we'll do like a thing. Yeah, we'll do back to back like a Lethal Weapon and a Die Hard and compare.
okay, if yeah, that sounds perfect. Lethal Weapon and Die Hard. I kind of want to do a. I want to do Mad Max at some point. I'm a huge fan of Mad Max.
Yeah, actually, I I haven't seen. I know I haven't seen them all.
I refer to Kylie and the baby as Master Blaster all the time because she always got her strapped to her. She's always
Should should we watch Thunderdome though, since Tina Turner just died? What, right? Wasn't she in that one?
yeah, yep. That was Tina Turner. Thunderdome, arguably the worst one, um,
Hmm.
but it's not so bad. It's not so bad. It's definitely better than this piece of dog shit that we have fucking.
I'd
Man,
be
and
okay
you know what? It
with
hurts to say that about Stallone too, because I love Demolition Man. Like I love a lot of Stallone movies, and this is embarrassing, man. It doesn't make
Demolition
fucking
Man.
sense, dude. Like if this wasn't a cocaine cash grab, I don't know what was. I'm starting to believe that a lot of these movies are like money laundering operations.
That's true.
I've been spending
I
a lot
wonder
of time watching Boardwalk Empire, so I'm starting to think everything is a political conspiracy.
how long was its run in theaters, I wonder, and like how many, what was the ticket sales? Like who, like you said earlier, who was this for? Like I would have loved to be there opening day to see who comes in to see this film. Like,
Yeah, no, and
well,
I think the average action fan bit. I think we bit. Everyone did, but I think ultimately, like when you have an idea, right? Even if it's something that you're unfamiliar with, like say, like I just watched a documentary recently called the 7-5. It's about corrupt police officers up in New York. One of the best documentaries I've ever seen in my life. But if you're going to talk about something that I don't know anything about, you at least have to try to make it interesting, right? So like
yeah,
this movie wasn't written for police officers because it doesn't make any sense. Like if anything,
yeah.
it just shows you how incompetent and how piece of shit a bunch of cops are, right? Like it's not like it's it's not even a heartthrob. Like it's not even a good love story. The romance
No.
isn't good. The
He's
chemistry.
not even shirtless Stallone, like in Over the Top. He's just fully clothed the whole
He
time.
doesn't take a weird whore bath in this one.
No.
No, and the sociopathic American psycho scene where he eats pizza with scissors, like it
And
really.
wears his stupid mirrored glasses the whole time.
Yeah,
Goddamn
what the
aviators.
fuck? All I gotta say is what the fuck, and never again. Never again. I will actively avoid ever watching this piece of dog shit ever again.
I'm upset that I did. So I made you watch this. And I apologize for that. So you pick the next one. I'd be cool with even Mad Max would be good. I'm cool with an Arnold. I'll watch really anything that isn't this. It's your pick now.
All
So,
right, all right. I want to ponder it. I want to
yeah,
make sure the next one's good. I want to give the three people watching this a little something to look forward to. I apologize. It's been my birthday. I got a new gig. I got a new job. So I've been really trying, Adam, to get to do this. I really want to do this.
as hectic as your life is, mine's right there with you. So I'm just glad we're still doing it. We're gonna keep it up. We'll get more regular.
Yeah,
Uh,
we're gonna start doing good things that at the very least we can laugh at because I got not this one. It was like a energy vampire, dude. It sucked.
like I was taking notes and I was starting to get pumped, and then like start sucked and
Yeah, you
stopped.
can only lie to yourself for so long.
Yeah. I had all this energy, and then I get down here, and I'm like, I'm not even excited.
Well, Adam, I think in conclusion, I think it's safe to say that if I were Caesar, this one would be fed to the lions for
Oh,
sure,
absolutely,
for
absolutely.
sure.
This is the first flop we've had. First 100% across the board
Yeah,
flop. I mean,
yeah.
arguably you could say that about Over the Top, but I'll fight you on it.
Yeah, no, I think and even over the top, there were even the things they tried to take seriously that I could laugh at, like the little crying boy, little
Yeah.
sissy boy. Oh, come here, little sissy boy. But no, dude, this there's no value here. There's no comedic value. There's no action value. There's nothing. Literally nothing. Don't
No,
watch
no,
it.
no chemistry between any of the characters. It's
No,
just
just terrible, terrible. So
so.
next time, folks, we promise we will bring. Oh, he's gonna get you, dude. He's been eyeing you up this whole time. It looks like he's looking at me, but he's actually looking over at me at you, bro. He wants what you got.
Dude, he is menacing as all heck. I just the it's a very wide and square boxed face that man has.
Yeah,
Like that's
he's got a kisser on him. That's for
it
sure.
looks like he could take a punch.
Yeah,
That's
he looks like he probably has.
yeah. Yeah.
He
I'm
fell.
gonna see.
He fell down
Well,
the ugly tree.
I'm sure it's all good stuff.
What?
the next movie we'll watch is like something else that killer's been in. I'm sure it's all great stuff. It's got to be.
Bro, I can't. What we talked about at the beginning of the podcast, and now I don't even remember now. I don't even remember what the fuck this guy was in. He's Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh man, I bet it's this dude. He's the cancer, bro. That's what it is. Anytime this dude's in a film, it's don't watch it. Basically.
Mortal Kombat is actually bad, huh? Like Street Fighter's okay.
No. This we're not even talking about Mortal. We're talking about Mortal Kombat 2 Annihilation. We're talking
Okay.
about the shittier sequel to Mortal Kombat, where he plays Shao Kahn, and it is.
I thought okay.
That's a movie we might have to do to punish ourselves at some point because it's a lot like this one.
Do you want to just do a week, do a couple weeks of just watching like the worst sequels of the film, like American Psycho 2 or like all the shitty films that like everybody forgets actually were made and just really bad. Never.
I think at some point I think we need to be on a couch together. I think we need to be drunk out of our minds so we can rage scream at a movie, and we need to just basically watch a movie and be angry at it the whole time, and then we can do a round of shitty movies because we got to get something out of it, because if we do this again, Adam, I'll jump out my fucking window.
Yeah, no, you're right.
This was a bad one. I can't. It makes me hate movies. I actually am thinking about devoting myself entirely to God and cutting movies out of my life entirely. Thank you, shitty Kirk.
The only way that we could have redeemed this episode is if we would have actually watched this film like together and just turned the camera so you just watch us watching the film and us just bashing it the whole time. Like that's
Beavis and Butthead for shitty movies.
Yeah, that's the only way. Like Mystery Science 3000, but you don't even see the movie. It's just us bashing it. Like we don't even make you go through the worst part of it. We'll spare you from that.
You ever watch Hey, dude, you should check out my boy's podcast. It's like Mystery Science Theater, but it's just depressing as fuck.
You never see it.
Yeah,
don't. You have to go on your own and line it up with their commentary. They don't even do it for you. That's how cool they are.
I would imagine, Adam, we're probably going to end up going down this road more frequently than we'd like to, this bad movie. I think we're going to start revisiting some of these things. But listen, folks, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about this one. Thank you for sticking with us. I promise you the next one will be much better. Something fucking sweet that we can talk about, because this one had nothing for us. So, until next time, Adam, you're gay. Sorry.